I have a treat for you today. Very rarely, but more to come in this. I have a couple that I have watched and have been moved by that know how to build and sustain and love each other in such a deep way that I knew I had to have them on. Uh, my partner, Michael, as you've met through the videos and know about him at this point, his mentor is JP Morgan. And JP is this brilliant coach that I've been watching. And JP recently did a training with his amazing partner, Kalpna, and they combined their skill set and wisdom about love and relationship. And when I listened to the two of them and saw what they had going, I just said, oh my goodness, I must have them on to share the golden nuggets about what it takes to go the distance. So So let me welcome JP and Kalpna to the stage. Hello, hello.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm really happy to have you guys here. I'm trying to even think back, like, did I ever even have a couple? I'm not sure I've ever done this before. So this is the first of many, and I'm just really grateful that there's an iPad with the kids. They're off someplace else being taken care of, and
Yeah.
and you've carved some time today. So beautiful. So many of my followers are just starting over in love. Maybe they're divorced, maybe they lost a spouse, maybe they've never built a long-lasting relationship for lots of different reasons. And on this podcast, we talk about the components of how we show up in relationship, how we show up when, the dynamics of dating and how we contribute to the dynamics of a relationship, especially in the beginning. And so I would love to start with your journey from the beginning. Like, tell us how you guys met, because we're going to talk about all the nuances of how you have what you have now. Because my guess is it hasn't been just one straight line to deep, perfect bliss. So I,
Not perfect. It's
it's
not
not
perfect.
perfect. Wait, wait,
No.
wait, wait. Maybe I shouldn't have you on. It's
Yeah.
not perfect.
Yeah. Deep imperfect bliss.
Deep, imperfect
Yeah.
bliss. Yes,
Yeah.
what a great title. So maybe start us from the beginning. Was it you saw each other across the room and soulmate connection and you were off to the races? How was it for you guys?
No, go
No,
ahead.
no.
Go ahead.
We were actually introduced by a friend um, to work together because we were both working in the dating niche at the time.
Ah, I didn't know
And
that.
Mhm.
and so we both worked with single men in slightly different areas, but it was we were compatible to work with. And when I saw him talk in a workshop, I was like, yeah, I was really attracted to his spirit,
Mm.
and his I could just see his greatness shine, and he's such a good speaker and such a good teacher.
Mm,
um I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm in love with him. I was like, oh, I really want to work with this guy.
yeah, that's very attractive when you see somebody in their
Oh,
brilliance.
totally. So yeah, so I was attracted to work with him at the time, but I had like an idea of who I wanted to be with, like just, very superficially. And, he will say the same thing, that we weren't each other's ideal partner.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, so we thought.
yeah.
I,
Right.
you know what I was just remembering? I don't know if I ever was really in touch with this before, but like when I saw you, I was like, my first thought was she's kind of out of my league because like she was very like I don't know how to a non-derogatory way, high maintenance, like in the sense of like extremely fashionable, like London optometrist, like always wearing heels, like you know, I just didn't date women like that. I was like a hippie traveler, like street magician, grungy. And so of course she was beautiful, but she was also like didn't look like the
Yeah.
type of woman I was gonna be into me. And
Yeah.
I was just realizing that like I was thinking, oh, if we like work together, then she'd get to know me, and then
Oh, oh.
yeah, and then
Oh.
she would see that like even though I'm a bit grungy, like I'm still a pretty good guy. So um and we've kind of met in the
Interesting.
middle. She's maybe toned it down a little bit, and
Yeah.
I've maybe learned to dress a bit nicer,
Yeah.
especially at times. So
I've become more casual, especially now that we're living in Maui. You
on a
can get it
farm.
on a
Yeah.
farm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Around
there's a
this.
little bit to do around farms.
Yeah.
High
Yeah.
heels don't necessarily
No,
work with mud. Well, you don't probably
No.
have a lot of
no,
mud in Maui, but yeah,
No, there's
yeah,
plenty.
there's
Yeah.
lots, yeah.
Yeah.
But when we started to create things together, and we really got that we shared the same deep values,
Mm.
like just personal growth, just being one of them. Like
yeah,
it being very, very important to me that I was always challenging myself and growing.
Mm.
And I had boyfriends in the past where that was just a no-go area for them.
yep,
And that was, well, that's not going to work, because I don't want to change knowing that you're not going to change. That is, if I want a relationship that's going to last, I want to keep evolving and I want you
yeah.
to do the same.
Mm.
And be your true self and
Absolutely.
keep evolving, as you said.
Yeah,
And yeah, yeah, and grow together separately
that's
and
right.
together.
That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
beautifully. And
I
I
think
really
it-
I want to
yeah.
pop in here and underline that you both didn't necessarily see
No,
the other as potential, oh, here's my
right.
person. Because a lot of
That,
people keep,
that's so
with the
important.
Disney movies, they're like, love at first sight, all this chemistry. There's so much more to love than
Yeah.
that first moment,
Yeah.
That's what I was just
values.
gonna say. That's what I was just gonna like expand on is like it's so important to like have a vision for a relationship and also have that obviously that vision is emergent from your values, but then also be willing to let go of that vision to have it come in a different form that serves the values that are at the heart of it.
Mm.
Like all the things that I really, really wanted deep below the surface were different than what the picture I've had in my mind. So I've got everything and more than I wanted, but like it doesn't look like what I thought it was going to look like at all. And I think
Yeah.
if you are too attached to what you think it looks like to get your values, then you might end up not getting what you actually value because you're too attached to the surface level
Yeah.
version of it. Yeah.
That's so huge. So, well, with just that, what would you suggest as a step perhaps for somebody that is not seeing that they are
Right.
kind of attached to this is how I want it, but not necessarily dropping into the heart place of this is what I truly value and would feed my soul, so to speak.
Hmm. Hmm. I think it's such an important question, so I'm really trying to
Yeah. Take
like
your time.
like did you have
Yeah. I
something?
mean,
Go ahead.
no, I was just recalling, like, when I also worked with women for a little while, we all used to have, when you're single, you have a checklist, don't you?
Yes, the list, the
The list.
list.
And especially if you are into that sort of spirituality and you have like your vision board and your manifestation list of
Yeah.
what you want in a man, and so much of it can be, well, you don't think of it as superficial, do you? You think this is actually really, really important.
Yeah.
But then it's, you know, how much of this can I let go of,
Yes.
knowing that I am going to meet someone who's actually going to really love me for me.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, just to give like a kind of a very clear example that's like maybe a bit superficial, but also makes it obvious, is like I had a picture in my mind of like a blonde or something, and or maybe a woman from like the Latin culture, and I also and when I reflect on like the picture of what those women are that I would end up with, it was a projection of both my mother, like my mom's Italian, and
Hmm.
it was also a projection of like the girlfriends I'd had when I was young. Like they just happened to be like Scandinavian and blonde, and it was like, oh, that's because I had an association with that, right? And
Yeah.
so therefore I was mentally seeking that visually, physically, and Kalpna wasn't that. And so I might be like, oh, that's not that, and I wouldn't be attracted to it unless it's that. It's like, but that's just one pattern that emerged. And so actually at the bottom of all of that is I want physical attraction. And if I can be open to the possibility that physical attraction can emerge in a context that looks completely different than everything I've been physically attracted to before,
Yep.
then I think that's the important thing, is being open to experiencing something that you actually want coming in a package, in a form that you don't expect it to, instead of discounting it for the form's sake. Whatever it is.
I would say also, like when you're looking at your list, it's like asking yourself, why do I want this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because what is the real reason behind
Yeah.
wanting this? Like you say, I want them to look a certain way because I really value being sexually attracted to my partner.
Yeah.
I have a non-physical question for you, because I know there's something that was not in your vision. You did not want to be married to an American, right? And so, and here we are with Kalpna, now an American citizen living 10 years in America.
Yeah.
So what
didn't
is it that you
know what
really
you
wanted that an American for you at that time was not going to give you?
What did you want in that? And how did you both rework the first desire of the blonde or the
Yeah.
Latina? Like, how did you guys rewire that? So first, how did that what was that about for you, Calvin? And how did you shift that?
I had something similar, that I had a type as well, and they were normally Antipodean.
What the fuck does that mean?
I was just gonna go. I was gonna say, could you repeat that?
More books. Don't you know what that means, Junie and John?
Australia, New Zealand, right?
Antipodean. It sounds like a Latin word.
Well, so can you first of all say it slowly, and then tell us what it means?
They were from either Australia or New Zealand. Antipodean.
Antipodean.
Never heard of it.
Okay.
That's what we say.
I'm actually blushing. That takes a lot.
And sort of laid back surfer dude, right?
Really?
That was my type.
Okay.
But in all of that, it was not being uptight, you know. So having also dated a lot of Brits, there was a kind of like this underlying stress, being uptight, not being able to,
In London in particular.
especially in London, that there was like a backbone of tension that I just didn't want to be around.
Mhm.
But I don't know if that makes sense, but I wanted to be someone with someone who was just easygoing, you know, that I could just relax with.
And was that him? Is that JP?
Definitely.
Okay, so that helped you shift the paradigm for you.
So, you know, as the underlying reason, why would I want this? It was because I wanted to be with someone who I could just relax
with.
that I didn't have to try too hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Which is what we often do, is we try way too hard to make something happen. Yeah.
you know, I didn't want to have to be a certain way, or I just wanted to relax and just be myself and feel like I can take off my high heels now.
Yes. Yes.
You know, there was a lot of, there was,
That's
I
great.
didn't have to be this like picture perfect person that, you know, I thought I had to be, which is why I dressed a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had to look like that, like high maintenance, to attract the person I wanted to be with.
Yep.
And actually, that wasn't what I wanted.
Nor would it necessarily work, because he saw high maintenance, out of my league. So the very thing that sometimes we actually present as we think this is the way to be to get what we want actually repels or pushes away the very thing that we desire.
That's
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the underlying reasoning for
Love it.
and that's why, you know, even though he was American.
Yeah.
She gave you a pass, hon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a slow death of the resistance to being to Americanism, you know. Anyway,
I have my passport.
you have your citizenship, yeah.
And you,
Um,
JP, how did you work the letting go of what what was
the ideas
familiar
that I had, yeah,
and the ideas, and
yeah,
also being able to allow yourself to be yourself instead of having to prove I'm
yeah.
worthy of you, because that was what I heard before.
I think I've showed you this phrase of like being stolen from singledom. Did I say that to you?
Ooh,
I allowed
that's
myself to be
interesting.
stolen from singledom. I had been in a on and off relationship for a couple of years prior to meeting Kalpna, and I had only been single for like less than a year at that point when we met. And I was like late 30, no, mid 30s, and I was like, I'm never gonna get married. My parents got divorced when I was 15. I was just gonna like have relationships, and at that point, I was like not in a hurry to even get into a relationship. Um, and I have always had the idea that if I'm going to end up in a relationship, I want it to be one that sweeps me off my feet and takes me by surprise. And so the paradox is that I am not looking for a relationship, but I am willing to be stolen from this life. I'm willing to have my heart be taken over. And I think that
I
the
love
kind
that.
of, when we have chickens here on the farm, and when we sometimes will hatch baby chicks, and when we have a 4 and a 9-year-old now. Last time we hatched chicks, they're probably like 2 and 7,
Oh my,
and
how much fun.
we have to teach them how to hold the baby birds. And
Oh,
when we teach them, it's like you have to hold them not so tight that you kill them, because if you squeeze them, they'll die. And you have to hold them not so loose, because then they'll fall and they'll die. And so there's this place in
wow.
the middle that you have to learn to hold, where it's like rigid but not suffocating. And I think that's the way that I've always held to the values and what I want in a relationship. And so there's like a looseness that allows it to sneak up on me in a form that is different than I expect, but I'm also still committed to getting that deeper fulfillment. And so it's an internal qualitative experience of being an absolute stand for something while also being completely open with how that shows up. And I think that's why I was able to let go of the ideas that I had and discover that I was starting to receive the experience here in some form that I hadn't expected.
Hmm.
Oh my God, I love that metaphor and I love what you just shared. As I dive deep into Dr. Joe's work for many years and other people, what
Mhm.
I continually cultivate is being open to
Hmm.
the unknown and finding that balance, being able to stay present as much as I can and allow the mystery to unfold, not be too tight with what I'm planning. So things exciting can show up, to have that vision at the same time. It's quite the dance, isn't it? Especially when it's of the heart, right? Wow. Okay, so you both surrendered on some level. You found each other. You navigated to this place of, oh, okay, this isn't how I thought it was going to look.
Oh,
So we've been talking about how it didn't appear the way you thought it would appear. And you both had to kind of look at, what am I bringing to the table? Oh, I need to wear the heels and look a certain way to be accepted, loved, or whatever it is for you. And you, JP, were like, oh, she's out of my league. How can this even work? So, first of all, I just want to acknowledge both of you for kind of being curious about what's going on inside of you and being able to do that work. Because my opinion is if you didn't do some of that work, you could never have truly seen what was in front of you, that you had these deep values. So, am I is all
yeah, yeah,
resonating? Okay, cool.
yeah.
So then here you are and you're whoa, okay. This, game on. This is something real here. You're on the same page on, with your heart's calling. And as you said, something about something has to die or something has to shift and perhaps birth something else. You guys ended up creating something very beautiful together. And I'm wondering, how was it in the beginning? Was it bumpy? Was it perfectly imperfect but challenging? And how did you stay the course? Because so many people, especially in the early parts of relationship, even when it's feeling good on a lot of levels, and you guys knowing you had the deep values, the clunks come along and people, I'm out of here. They don't stay the course for lots of different reasons. So I'm wondering if you can give us a sneak peek on how you navigated the early parts of your relationship and some of the gold that has sustained you.
Mhm. I have plenty to say, but I'm used to talking about it. What do you want? What do you see?
Um, well, I was going to say that it was actually really challenging at the beginning. Um, about 2 or 3 months after we got married, my father passed away.
Mm.
And so I had a lot of depression around that. I was in
Mm.
a lot of grief, a lot of really, really angry, because it was just an accident. He just 1 minute was there, next minute was gone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think it was very challenging for us because, you know, John hadn't been around someone who was deeply grieving, and so it was hard for him to navigate what was going on with me. And him being the closest person, I was taking a lot of my upset out on him, you know.
Yep.
Um, and so, and then what we had a miscarriage, and it was just it was just really, really gnarly at the beginning.
Yeah. Lot of
But
life. Yeah.
yeah, and but I feel that we said that we were in it.
Yeah.
You know, we are in this. We're not going to just walk away when something doesn't work. We're going to find a way around this. And I knew inside that how I was feeling wasn't going to be forever. And
Mm.
it wasn't really anything to do with my husband. I was able to like take ownership of it, even though sometimes I would just take it out on him. I
Yeah.
knew it wasn't really him. It was what was going on, and it was the grief, and the grief would soon pass. Um, so, and I really appreciated how much he was really in it with me.
Mm.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I think about like when you talk about when it first started, I think about before we even got married. And that point that you ended on for me is the same one that's like was the most important because yeah, it was bumpy as hell, especially, before we got married. I mean, like we weren't making that much money and I was trying as hard as I could and making less and less and super committed to growing the new business. And Calpin had gone all in to partner with me in the business. And then I kind of shifted my business focus and left her in the lurch and, still in relationship, but suddenly I was providing for her financially and she wasn't really involved in the business anymore. So that was a vulnerable position for her to be in, not married to me and depending on me financially. And then we ended up not being able to afford rent and we're living at her mom's and then suddenly I was depending on her parents to live, I was like what 30, 34, 35, something.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was an interesting dynamic and there were there was just tension, right? Like I'm saying something's going to happen, it hasn't happened yet, so it was challenging. Um and for me, one of the moments that we got married, this is just my reality, not counting this, I'm sure, but we were having an argument in a park near Harwood Road in London, near Fulham Broadway. I remember exactly where we were standing. And she did the thing that either of us had done from time to time when we get into an argument or something's happening in the relationship. And I just had this realization that's like, this is how every relationship I've ever had has ended, is because we are having a moment and then we say to ourselves or we say to the other person, I don't know if this is going to work out.
Mm.
And I was
Yeah.
like, and I remember saying to you that like, I was a bit upset with you for saying it because I'd kind of talked about it before, but I'd like put my foot down and I was like, that's the last time I will ever listen to you say that and stay. And so
Wow.
we have to make an agreement right now that we will never let an argument be a reason to consider whether or not we're going to stay in this relationship because next time I'll leave and I won't come back. And it was like hard to say that, but I had to fucking have that resolved because I knew that if I put energy into that thought, that's where my mind would go and that's what I would create. And so I needed to have like both of us all in for like, no matter what we're going through, we are using this relationship to grow us. And we're at least not going to make a decision or even put energy into the thought of this not working out when we're not in our highest state.
That's right.
So powerful.
That was a turning
So
point.
powerful. That
Yeah.
deep commitment to each other and JP, that deep commitment to yourself,
Yeah.
and knowing that that thought can build and wreak
Oh, yeah.
havoc, especially when you guys weren't in your right mind.
Right.
Huge.
Yeah.
Wow. Kalpana, did you want to share about that?
Well, it was just I mean, I remember that, and also just knowing that when we get angry with each other, I'm like, "Ugh."
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
It never happens anymore, right? You're right.
But it's also just a thought,
Right.
right? It's just a thought. It's not true. It's just
Right.
a thought.
Yeah.
And so there's always the remembering that I may be upset and it's just a thought.
Yeah. It's a moment. It's the meaning we give to it. It's
That's right.
passing and it's uncomfortable and it's just a thought.
It's just a
Mm.
thought. And so I feel that that got me through so much of our stuff. Just,
Wow.
it's just a thought,
So here are tools right here. Knowing yourself, unpacking, what is it that I really want underneath these so-called values,
Yeah.
questioning, being curious, knowing yourself and standing for it. I never want to hear that again. We're in this together, the deep commitment to love. And when we have those moments, to remember that it's just a moment, that there's a lot more going on here than this moment of oops, ouch, what were you thinking, whatever it is. That there's this container that I'm witnessing with you guys, that I know I have a container that can hold those moments of thoughts,
Yeah.
the container to have the challenges and have others back along the way, but have your own back and take responsibility for yourself as well. I mean, that's what I'm witnessing with you guys more than anything right now.
Thanks. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the heart of our commitment. Yeah, it's for in our vows we spoke for like forever, not just like till we die, but like eternity through death and forever. So there's like this yeah, it's kind of like that's my favorite thing about being married. It's like the only way out of this is to grow, you know?
The
So
only way out of this is to grow. Oh, JP, you lay down some really great things. I mean, I've been listening to him. Nothing against you, Keltna. I listen to him, often. I'm just like, oh my God, the gold. And truly, the gold that's coming out of your mouth as well,
so many
Keltna.
of the
It's so
gold that comes out of
beautiful.
my mouth came into my ears from Kalpna's mouth, and then I
There you
took all the
go.
credit for it. So yeah,
The woman behind the man.
yeah,
I
exactly.
never say it. I never say it in the way that he says it.
No,
though.
sometimes
And
you
I'll
do.
say it to him, and then it will come out in a slightly different way.
Well, you
Maybe,
both are
but
laying
yeah.
down some gold here, some huge, huge golden nuggets, both of you. And, and you just said, that you sometimes have arguments. Oh, you have conflict sometimes? I mean, welcome to life. How you have kids,
Right.
you have businesses, both of you
Yeah.
have thriving businesses. So do you have, is there any pre-work or pre-discussion around how you do conflict and how might you do conflict so that you can glide through it a lot more smoothly than if you
Yeah.
didn't?
Yeah, well, for me there is. I mean, we have agreements around what's appropriate. Just the other day, I finally saw that it was like we had a difference of opinion as to whether cursing was appropriate in an argument.
Mm,
There was a hard no to it, and I was like, I think that's fucking stupid, and like I'm gonna curse if I'm angry. But the other day I saw like why cursing was not good, because then my cursing escalates her anger to a point that then now she's out of her own value set. And so even
yeah.
though I find it to be justified in the expression of my anger, I see that the impact that my cursing has on her, and that
Mm,
takes us in the direction that I want to go. So seeing myself as part of the whole, I now see cursing in an argument as not in the interest of the whole. Right. And so even though I personally feel justified, if I was out in the world, I might express anger with a curse word. I may say, get the fuck away from me, dude, or whatever. But
yeah.
with my wife, I won't say it anymore because I'm committed to us as a unit more than
Yeah.
I am to my own individual value set. I'm committed to the value set of the whole. So yeah.
Yeah, there's that we. There's another
Yeah.
entity here. Yeah.
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 And we need to take that into consideration and having those conversations about what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Right.
And being able to speak it, because a lot of people have a hard time speaking what it is that
Yeah.
works for them and doesn't. And that's where a lot of the challenges happen, after the fact, not,
Right.
before these things happen.
I have a belief that we should never take our arguments too seriously. I have a belief that we shouldn't take life too seriously, for a start. So I laugh.
Yeah. And I hate it. I like fucking hate it.
So
And I
wait,
love
wait,
it.
wait. When you're arguing, you start to laugh.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, I can only imagine, JP,
I get
what
so
goes on in
fucking
your head.
pissed because then I start
What goes on in
fucking
your head?
pissed because then I start laughing too, and I'm like, no,
No, no,
I
this
was
is
fucking
serious.
winning. I was
I'm really
winning.
angry.
I'm gonna be so angry
I've
at
wa- and
you.
it's like the worst, best feeling in the world. It's like she's so good at it and doesn't do it all the time, but she doesn't. I mean, I don't have access to
Oh,
that pretty much at all. Very rarely do I, but it's the best, and
I
I
love
hate
that.
it.
Love it, hate it, and it works.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
so just like we're fucking getting into it. And I'm like mad, and she's mad, and then I'll say something, and then she'll just be like, "Yeah, da 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 da," and say it back to me, like mimicking me. I'm like, I don't even
did
know
you
what to
just do
do.
that? Did you just do
Like, did you just
that?
copy me? Did you just copy me? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and I'm like starting to laugh, and I'm like, no, it's like ridiculous.
because
Oh
we
my
are
goodness.
ridiculous when we're arguing. I mean, we're just so caught up in this
We
silly idea, and we
are.
want
We
to be
are.
so right, and we want to win, and
Yes.
it's silly because we're in this together, and we're not going to win. There's no winner.
And when we can pop out of it, even for just the
Yeah,
split second,
yeah,
and see the craziness of it and see that we're just little boys and little girls having a tantrum in some way, then we
absolutely.
can go, oh my God, we're being
Yeah,
so funny, silly, whatever,
yeah,
in our distress. Because there's truth there. But if we can come back
yeah,
to being the adult, then we could actually actually do some healing. I
yeah.
love that. Don't take it too seriously.
Mm,
Wise, wise words. So simple and yet so profound, right?
Right. Yeah.
My
Um,
goodness, my goodness. So I would love before we close, and this is going to be a few minutes. You guys shared something when I was watching you about each of you having your own vision and having that you don't have to let go of anything that's important
mm,
to you. However, what you thought you wanted might be different than what might show up or be created, but ultimately you don't have to sacrifice or give away anything that's most important to you. Can you talk a little bit about that concept? Because some people might be like, well, that sounds like I'm abandoning my truth, or I may let go of something that's really important to me for that person versus birthing a very different vision collectively.
mm. You want to say something?
no, you
Okay. I mean, actually, it's very similar to what we were talking about earlier, as far as like the vision for who I'm going to end up with in relationship, right? And so there's like a commitment to the deeper value beneath that vision being served, but there's a willingness for this what it looks like changing the form. And so like our life is not a trade-off between the things that she wants and I want. So we're not trying to balance the economy of our desires. If we were, it'd be like, I don't know, we'd be living in two places. There's nowhere that's like the perfect, that was my dream. And now, and in so many things. And so it's like, we have learned to dream together, to dream from our values, like what's the deepest essence of what we want. We want to experience like travel freedom and comfort and luxury, and like what would that look like together, where's the kinds of places that we would, and just put all the things out on the table, and then like pick from that as to like, oh, that would serve us both, that we both get what we want from that. Like Kalpna is an incredible wine expert and loves to go on wine tastings and travel the world, to taste wine, and I love traveling as well. And so now we're like creating this vision of like, well, we'll all go wine travels, and you'll taste and I'll take the boys on adventures, right? Like when we're in France or whatever. And also like I've got this like vision of being back on stages again. I used to do public speaking when I lived in the UK, um and it's like, yeah, but I don't want to be away from my family. And Kaplan's like, well, we'll come with you. And it's like, so there's a way for us to have, so the basic principle that you're mentioning is like, I am committed to both of us having everything we want, and neither of us ever making a sacrifice.
Got
And
it?
so when we both have that
Yeah.
commitment, we're able to find some manifestation of that, some form where we both get what we want in a way where neither of us lose. And it's usually something that neither of us had considered before,
Hmm.
because we're usually thinking about what we want in the terms of what it looks like for us.
Yeah.
But when you come together with that mutual commitment, and you're like, and you care more about both of you getting everything that you want, then you find that third path, you find the way.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share on that, Kapner? Or
Well, I mean, just that it's really important to be really clear that, you are not making a sacrifice, that you
Mhm.
you are you're getting to the value underneath what it is that you want. I want to do this. Why do you want to do this? All because of this. And it's that because of this
Yes.
that you put on the table.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it looks like a sacrifice from the outside. Like for example, I don't know if you remember this, but I had been for a long time on the waiting list to go to a Shinzen Young meditation retreat. And one finally came up and I was on the list and I had a friend that could probably get me in because they're hard to get into. And then the first Dr. Joe event that Kalpman wanted to go to came up at the same week. And I sat with it because we were already a yes in agreement to me going. Like that was the first thing that was like, but then this thing came up and it was like we can't both go with the kids. They were very young. And I just sat with it and I was like, what is this really about? Like for me going to the retreat is like creating more peace, more equipoise, more stillness in the home, and like really serving our family. And then Kalpna going, what is that going to create? And similar for her. And I just got clear that like the thing that we both wanted was the same, which is that peace in the home.
Mm.
And it was like, and Kalpna going is going to serve that more than me going. And so I actually decided not to go to the retreat. And then she went to the Joe Dispenza retreat, and that has served us and our family so much, so much over the years. So it was the right decision for the thing that we both wanted, even though it looked from the outside, it looks like I made a sacrifice, but I didn't,
I
you
get
know?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I just keep hearing big commitment to the whole picture.
Yeah.
yeah,
No one left behind, and
Right.
what's
right.
going to serve both of you and your whole family. And also dig deep, you're digging deeply into what's really going on, what's most important, and how to navigate it together. I hear so much togetherness, communicating with each other and visioning together, creating this life.
Mm,
Beautiful.
thank you.
Last words of what it takes to have a successful relationship.
Um,
For me, a successful relationship is one where you're staying together and growing. It doesn't like always look pretty. So, it's having a commitment to just what you said, having a commitment to the union and to growth.
yeah.
That's the having a highest commitment to those two things for me.
Yeah.
And being self-responsible.
Yeah.
That's part of the paradox. Yeah.
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 It is so true, right? It is part of the
Right.
paradox.
And we always say, because you always say, "Oh, how did I create this?"
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to when we're having an argument, if he says, "Oh, how did I create this?" That that disempowers me, right? Because he's saying that he created the situation
Right.
and he's taking all the power for that.
Interesting.
Which in you know, so we now say, how did we create this
Or how are
situation?
we creating
How are
this?
we creating this
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
situation?
in the present moment, it's we. And then when I'm in my own space and reflecting on it, it's how did I?
Yeah.
So it's like it's really about where is I mean, am I in the context of the relationship? Then I'm looking at it through the lens of we. And if I'm in the context of self-reflection, then I'm more in the context of I.
How did
So
I create it? Yeah.
it's always self-responsibility, but when I'm in the context of relationship, the self is the union. And when I'm by myself, the self is me alone. So both are
Beautiful.
true. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. You guys are really special. You're bringing so much out into the world about love and partnership and wine and entrepreneurial stuff.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys are great. And I know you have a special gift, a really special gift for
Yeah.
our listeners and watchers. What you want to share a minute about it?
Yeah, I will. So, professionally, most of my work is about helping people to create the life they want in all areas of their life. Um, and so, in thinking particularly about people that are interested in relationship, I thought, well, I have this course. We typically sell it for like $100, but I was thinking I could gift it to your listeners. It's called Creating the Best of Everything. And I go through like all like 6 different areas of life, and I talk about how to create a vision for that being the absolute best. And the module in particular on relationship, I think your listeners will really
Ah,
appreciate. It will help to expand their sense of possibility. And having a powerful vision is important, right? Like we talked about being willing to let go of the specifics of it, but having the vision is still super important.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I'll give you a link so that you can
I
give people
love
access to
that.
that.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, absolutely. Thank you so much. That's so generous. We will put that in the show notes as well as the link to your website. You two
Mhm.
are amazing and such a blessing to the world and to the people that are watching and listening. Thank you so much for getting the kids set up and coming on here today.
Thank you, Junie.
Thank you for having us. Thank
You're
you.
so welcome. So I know you guys got a lot out of this today.
Hmm.
Definitely check out the course. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening to Apple, do a like, even a review. I mean, this is the way we reach more people and help more people magnetize more love to them and to others, especially for you. So definitely share this with someone else that if you got some value, and I'm sure you did. So until we meet again, mwah. One more thing before you go. Have you taken my Discover Your Love Avatar quiz? It's a 2-minute quiz that can help you not only know your strengths, your superpower because you have one, also identify some of your blind spots, some of the things that might be having you in your fear, having you behaving in ways that aren't in alignment with your highest self, the way you want to be when it comes to dating and relationships. And it'll also help you discover why maybe the stars haven't lined up for you yet. Bottom line is, you take this 2-minute quiz, you get a full report in your email with details on how to move forward in next level love, whether you want a partner or not. So you can go to midlifeloveoutloud.com/love quiz. The link is in the show notes as well. And if you haven't liked and subscribed to the station, I'm going to encourage you to do that too, so you don't miss any episodes. And I hope you got a ton out of today's. See you next week. Mwah.